All right. Ladies and gents, welcome to the fight for first and second here in Group B. We have Capoch, who has 11 wins and 1 loss at this point. And Capoch is in the driver's seat. If he gets 1 win in this play all 3, he is in first place. He is immediately promoted to Platinum. And that would be huge for him. Especially because, there's just no guarantees in the playoffs. Going into that playoff series guarantees you're up against another really big name. Capoch has gone for the Cumans, which is a civ I've seen 3 times on this map, and they have never lost, and it has never looked close. It is really strong if they can get the second town center up on the Berry area, which is relatively accessible here for Capoch, and he's going to attack the fence and break out the cow and the sheep. Vinchester is playing as the Saracens, which might be some type of counterplay, like Saracens can go for some good all-in pressure with their market. So I'm thinking that he probably saw Cumans on the draft and maybe had an oh crap moment. Like, for the video later on, they're going to Hardy would show the draft, but I actually need to take a quick look myself. Was Saracens late? Okay, Saracens is last pick there. Okay, so this is what I think happened. I think that Vinchester had an oh crap moment when he saw Cumans was drafted and thought about it and, wasn't expecting it originally. Otherwise, he would have banned it. And this is Vinchester going for a risky type play that maybe he's never tried before to try and break it. I said that no one should ever leave Cumans open on the ban list if Spiral's out there. And we've seen a lot of Cuman bans because of those 3 games I mentioned where players were really strong. So I'm excited. But, if you do make the TC here, you are right underneath 2 hills and could be pressured. So we'll see. Again, Capoch, he just needs to make sure he gets 1 win here, and then he's first place. And Vinchester, he's going to steal a boar. What in the world? He's going to steal a boar. This is the first boar steal we have seen on Spiral. So talk about things that players weren't expecting. I don't think Vinchester was expecting the Cumans. I don't think Capoch was expecting to get his boar stolen. He's like, I thought there was a boar over here. I could have sworn I saw it. He almost doesn't believe it. I'm not sure he knows. Okay, let me take that back. I'm sure he knows now. But I'm sure for a moment there, he was second-guessing himself. Like, are you sure? Maybe the boar was here. Maybe the boar was somewhere else. Now, Cumans was Capoch's 3rd pick. So I think, as the weeks have progressed, we've seen certain players try strategies. And then players realize quickly, oh, wow, that's really strong. I need to try that in my series when they watch the series take place. So I think Cumans was a result of, I forget who tried it first. I think it might have been Overtaken. Overtaken versus Dragonstar week 3. And then we saw someone else try it and saw someone else try it after that. Vinchester definitely changing up the meta here. He's not going to dock. And he's making Militia at the moment. So this is a very different Spiral game, which could be really fun. Nice job there from Vinch to take that boar, though. I wonder if the fish could disrupt, or the drush could disrupt the fish. I think it could. Maybe not right here. I can't really tell. I'm going to assume you can't put land units here, but you could kill the Vills, which would be sick. This is the first time I've ever seen anyone go for drush on this as well, right? Like, this whole game has been so different. Capoch is trying to do the same thing that has worked time and time again and has had no counter. Vinchester should be going right to the water. Because the build, well, he might be here to try and deny the TC, but the build that I've seen has always been dock, and then you go barracks, stable, then TC. Capoch is going to be so confused. Capoch, he's going to look over here, and all his deer are going to be gone. And the bodies don't stay there for very long, and they don't show in the fog if they can't be eaten. You see how the bodies disappear? Whereas if you shoot it with a Vil, the bodies stay there because you're eating it. So he might, if he's not looking right now, he might just look back over here later and all the deer are gone. And wouldn't it be so funny if this is live, if he pauses and he's like, admins, is this a bug? He did scout the barracks, though. I imagine he's going to notice something's up here. But Vinch is trying to make that 2-town center play less viable now by taking the deer. And honestly, you took the boar, you killed off the deer. I don't know if Capoch will even freely want to move out now because of there being some army out there. So Capoch is really in a rough spot. And then Vinch runs right into Capoch's TC. Classic. I don't... Okay. Small ranting session, okay? There's a freaking ring around your town center. Look here. There's a ring. There's Barry. What the... Okay, he was distracted. I'm sure he was just distracted, but also I'm sure some element of it was he doesn't realize like the basic layout of how the map could look. So that's not ideal there for Vinchester. There's just like small things like that because these guys are so much better than me. They're so good. It's just like, some of the small basic like understanding the map elements that can be quite frustrating for me at times. And so, you know, I let my frustration out. I'm sorry. It was a weak point in my day. All right, so here comes the villagers. And they're looking for the TC. Now, Vinchester doesn't have a scout anymore. 2 militia are not going to kill a villager if the villagers have loom, which they do. And don't... What? He's making a mill? Okay, so Capoch is changing his strat. Him making a mill tells me he doesn't think that he can actually produce out of 2 TCs consistently. Vinchester made a second barracks! What? He forgot he made the first barracks! What is happening? Dude, Vinchester has played so weird in TTL, man. So weird. Like, he should not have won 3-0 versus Cyclops. Cyclops, unfortunately, the pressure got to him. And after he had a castle up in the middle on El Dorado, he somehow fell apart. This has been an interesting game. All right. So he's controlling his 2 militia, but instinctively made the barracks because he's not used to making the barracks as early as he did. Does Capoch see it? Capoch, dude, Capoch is going to be like, what is this strat? What is this double barracks Saracen rush? Anyways, good job from Vinch. He adapts well. He clicks up, and he's added the archer range. But that's 175 wood that could have been the second archer range or something else, you know? And now Capoch goes for the second TC. However, the second TC was delayed. I have to say, it looks very pretty. Capoch's little setup here. Mill on one side, TC on the other. And he would have needed a mill before farms. So if you're questioning why mill and then not use it, he needs a mill somewhere before farms. And there's the second range for Vinch. And again, the goal here for Vinchester is to get the 3-0 to go to first place. Ironically, yeah, the double barracks could have actually been helpful for a bit of a pike play. And oh, the quick walls. And oh, Capoch is through and Capoch gets the doink. Gets it. Great job from Capoch. Capoch has been a menace here. And Capoch knows he's going to have a vill lead himself, so he's just trying to kill as much as he can. He also has full vision on what Vinchester's been up to. Militia see the TC. And Capoch's vill count's climbing. Capoch just needs to defend from this all in. I personally do not feel as though Cav archers have enough bite to kill this type of boom. Just smacking the door. Just clubbing the door. Clubbing the box. Scout, sorry. I should have shown this. The scouts are attacking, and they really want that villager. And Capoch might go back for her, but Capoch's done a good job thus far. So here come the Cav archers, but you need to kill like 10 villagers to be happy with this. Maybe not 10. Maybe 6 is even acceptable, as long as you keep the Cav archer snowball. There's the siege workshop for Vinchester. Scouts still looking around for weak villagers. Capoch being incredibly annoying with these scouts. And he doesn't get that vill. But he will definitely go back there, and Vinchester knows it. Vinchester's going to save him. Here come the Cav Archers. The Cav Archers go right to the wood line, but notice how Capoch has kept himself protected here. He just shifts right back to the other wood line. The militia are not a problem. The scout not a problem for Vinch anymore. And Vinch just now getting Bodkin arrow. And Capoch just about to click up. Do you click up with the forward TC? See, I would, because my logic would be I don't want more villagers here, which is going to happen if you continue to produce villagers while you're on the way to Castle Age. But then you'd lose the TC. Like, I'd lose the TC and look like an idiot. No, I take it back. I wouldn't. This is a smart play. You always place your Castle Age TC here. I'm trying to big brain it. But that's a lot of exposed vills, and the TC is starting to go down. And Vinchester's Cav Archer play really looking awkward for Capoch to deal with. This is not going to be efficient. If Vinchester brings 2 more Cav Archers and just sits them here, there's no way Capoch can stop that. Now, Capoch has added some scouts to maybe try and kill the Mangonel. This is all in from Vinchester. If at any point his army goes down, his siege even goes down, it could all fall apart. And Capoch is hoping he can get to Step Lancers. The Cav Archers weren't able to find a way in. So yeah, just loop back to the main push here, and I think this is fine. The Berry villagers are exposed. And now villagers are in the TC. So yeah, that much is not very good. But Capoch is starting to mass scouts now. I think Vinch just caught a glimpse of one. And Vinch sees this now, and all Capoch wants is that Mangonel. If he could take that, it slows down this TC going down. His villagers can maybe go back to work. But that is a lot of repairing at the moment. It's pretty messy for Capoch, who will need more army than just scouts here. I could see him getting the Lykev upgrade, but honestly, I think just a couple Knights or Step Lancers is more effective. This is everything for Vinch. He can't afford to make another Mangonel just yet. This is his whole game is snowballing this right here. Actually, as I say that, he's going to drop a TC. I was not expecting that. Capoch getting +2 armor. He's got a nice eco lead. Capoch waiting for some monks with the scouts. This is really smart movement from Capoch. Also, Vinchester's main base is wide open, which could lead to quite a few kills here. And Vinchester then would look away from the front. So this is where it gets so tough, right? Because Vinchester has to fight this back, so he's making some spears. He's using his vills. But Capoch is going to swoop for this in this exact moment because he expects Vinch not to be paying attention. Vinch isn't paying attention. Vinch is paying attention. Vinch did not leave. That was epic. He said, nope, take my vills. I'm taking your TC. I mean, still going to be another villager down. And another TC for Vinch. I really think he's not going to have the food economy to produce out of these town centers, but he at least will have the town centers. And Capoch, he's just going to go in now with the counterattack, which makes this TC look really wise from Vinchester. That was a protection TC, and it goes up at the perfect time. And with Bodkin, you can't stay underneath those town centers for too long. Vinchester's Cav Archers will find the scouts. But the scouts move on by. The monks have to switch to the knights. Capoch wants to kill the mango. He's going to get it. I think it's probably worth it for Capoch because he just delayed the push, right? He stalled it out. The TC has actually killed 5 units at this point. Make it 6. And Capoch is 8 plus 2 knights. Capoch has killed 4 villagers. This is going to be a 5th. Vinch's eco is incredibly imbalanced because it was all centered around an all-in initially. And now it's fallen apart. And now Capoch can breathe. And now I think this game might even be borderline over with a player like Capoch. Capoch is going to do so many crazy things with this time. He's going to use the mobility of his knights. We will probably see a 3rd town center at some stage from him. We see a monastery. But Capoch is just going to run circles around this guy. Does, unfortunately for him, lose a unit there. And Vinchester's actually blocking the scout. So the monk survives as well. That's very well played from Vinch. But Vinchester is really struggling to know where to be with his Cav Archers at the moment, and it's not going to get much easier from here. Without the barracks, Vinch would have had a second mango. Yep, potentially. Or more Cav Archers, right? But the thing is, the reason I think humans are insane on this is the food gives them a faster castle age than if they had to rely on just farms. And we've seen it before. You can't make a mistake against this. If you make a mistake against this, you have big problems. And Vinch, made some small errors. I don't think he made any massive misplays. I just think Capoch is a really tough player to break, man. Now, having said all this, it is 57 villagers versus 67. And it's 3 town centers for Vinchester right now. So his vill count's starting to climb. So well played to him there. And Capoch will drop TC number 3. Now, Capoch has by no means broken Vinchester, and I think the Saracens, with their unit options, they can dominate the humans if they get to something like Camel. Like, do humans have a single counter to Mameluke? I mean, not many civs do, but I think Mameluke, as exciting as that is, would be kind of tricky to get to. Vinchester going for the stone here. Here we've got 3 scouts headed in towards the monastery again, just waiting for the monks. There's actually 3 monks in there. And Capoch, if he can't find monk kills, he wants vill kills. And here he goes. Capoch has killed 6 eco already in this game. He's not going to find another one here yet. And he's just pulling his knights back to heal up with his monks here on the hill. And he's going to rotate in the stronger units to go do something here. 0 villagers on stone right now for Capoch. Or not for Capoch, sorry, for Vinchester. Which is a big issue. He wants them on stone. He's going to do that now. Capoch has been on stone somewhere. I guess at home. And I think I would probably want to see the light cav upgrade from Capoch. But honestly, just full stable units, light cav, knights, push this back. The cav archer number is not that high. And I just say light cav because you definitely don't want these monks to get conversions. If these monks get conversions, this can swing. And Vinch has the talent to do that. And I think Capoch is maybe expecting 1 or 2 monks. I don't know if he's expecting more than that. Capoch did kill a villager here, though. He's always on the prowl. As Vinch somehow got a knight into the base, and it's going to die to the TC. And now Capoch should see how many monks are there. This is worrying times for Capoch. The TC is also still weak from before. We're going to have one big fight in the middle here. No bloodlines on the CA. They only have 50 HP. I don't think the CA are as valuable as the monks. Obviously, the whole combination of units has to be effective here, but it feels like if the conversions don't come in for Vinchester, he's toast. So, you either put the light cav in a completely different position and loop, or you bait with the knights first and then pull the knights back, and then send the light cav into the front. You see how Vinch has repositioned his CA here? I think the positioning might have been better for Vinch. The best positioning he could get, but he didn't get any conversions. Oh my god, disaster time for Vinchester, who can't give Capoch a win, because if he does, Capoch will go top of the group. And now Vinchester, he's trying to make camels, but he just taps out. And honestly, I just think his whole strat was to try and punish the Cumans. The second that Stark stabilized, the second that push was dead in the water, it just felt like there was no way to come back. And Stark, he did collect more resources. Or why did I say Stark? I think I might have said Stark. Sorry, Capoch, he did collect more res, and it might not look like there's that big of a discrepancy compared to the other games we've seen with Capoch. But the reason for that is that Vinchester fell off hard with map control and just fell into the economic thing to play catch-up, right? And if you try and play catch-up economically, you're likely going to lose position, and I think you lose the position here. The castle goes up in the middle and all the gold, and then you're going to get raided everywhere. So, humans continue to be undefeated. And again, I think Vinchester either didn't see the games, or didn't know that humans would be good here, or didn't think about it. And then when the draft was happening, he saw the humans pick for Capoch at the 3rd pick. And at the end, he was like, oh man, I think my original strategy for Spiral won't work. I need to try something. And he tried something different here. So, good stuff. So Capoch confirmed first. We still have 2 more games, though. $20 per win and some pride on the line. Congratulations, Capoch, though. All right, so game 2, Vinchester playing as the Franks here. Capoch going for the Chinese. Let's watch Capoch's start. Let's see if he can get his Vils producing. Wow, this is really clean. Yeah, I played Lance Madness in a like show match of sorts last month, and I drafted the Chinese early. And going into it, I was a little uncertain because I wasn't sure how the start would be exactly, because you don't know if you're going to get your sheep right away. But my thinking was the forage bush, at the very least underneath the TC, helps you a little bit. Chinese start with the 6 villagers. And then the key, of course, is just to maintain that. On Arabia, the perfect Chinese start is 25 seconds of TC idle time. Capoch is at 15 seconds of TC idle time, and he's not going to have any issues now producing villagers. So the Chinese are the superior of the 2 civilizations. I really do. But the Franks should still be able to achieve a slightly faster feudal, do still have the stronger scouts. And if Vinchester plays with intent behind those scouts, I could see him making it happen. Greg says that's an easy Platinum League caliber matchup. Yeah. Which is why it's so important to win your group, right? For YouTube's sake, where I just asked if Vinchester ends up 2nd in this group, which he will, and if Hart ends up 3rd in the other group, Group A, which he might, who would you favor in a best of 5 between Vinchester and Hart? And a lot of people were saying that they think they might favor Hart. It could be a really close series, but I think it would be tough for Hart to perform his absolute best in that series because Vinch is such a big name. I think there would be, he would underperform a little bit because of the pressure of the moment. But Vinchester, I think, has been underperforming a little bit overall in TTL. So, yeah, it would be a pretty wild series. Vinchester won the first season. He then was relegated out of the second season. And obviously, he's guaranteed to go into the playoffs here. He's not like he's playing bad. But it's just interesting, the storylines we have surrounding Vinchester. Like, where's the house? What is this? He's going to be housed. He forgot a house. It's actually, thank God he didn't fully forget it. But, like, the house timing even. Like, what's going on here, dude? He did remember in the nick of time there and added the second villager, so it could have been pretty abysmal. The outcome of the next 2 games don't matter anymore, right? Well, it doesn't matter to the standings, correct? They don't affect anyone else's position either, whether they win or lose here. $20 per win. And then, there are some tiny things, like if you really want to talk about where it matters, it could affect, like, placement in some situations in future seasons in the event that we've got to replace players due to players dropping out, dropping in. Could kind of affect some things. But no, realistically, there's no huge ramifications on what happens here. That's true. We have seen a lot of Cav Archers versus the Franks this season. I don't think Chinese CA would make sense. The idea here is to go crossbow camel with the Chinese. Camels are incredibly strong against the knights, but crossbow in combination with it is really tough to stop. Sebastian versus Nikov is tomorrow. I have to figure out what we're exactly doing with it coverage-wise. So full transparency on this, right? I'm going to be absolutely killing myself with streaming over the next month and a half. Like this, till TTL concludes, we've got 6 weeks. And so I would like to maybe have a day off tomorrow, but there is a set happening. And I'm, of course, torn. I'm like, man, I really want to cast everything. But there's just sets every single day, and then there's playoffs Wednesday, Thursday, and then we got community games Friday, which I don't want to skip again, and then we got the weekend. Then we have 4 days in a row of Platinum. 2 days off, repeat for the next 6 weeks. So I might not be streaming tomorrow, and I think I might just use Monday. Like, I take this weekend off and then use Monday to cast like 5 or 6 sets or something. So for those that watch live, I don't actually know. I just don't want to overdo it too early. On Liquipedia, you can see what the next games are. Is there a way to see the last games of the tourney played overview? I don't think so. Also, Liquipedia is probably off from what's actually happening and upcoming because players have rescheduled things. Like, it showed Nikov Sebastian, and they rescheduled it today, and it also showed Yax and Cyclops, which they pushed back an hour, so. Yeah, I think I might chill this weekend. Come on Sunday, maybe cast a series or two, but not overdo it, and then see what happens for the week, so. Anyways, there's the stable for Vinch. We have 3 more sets after this, guys. I'm going to be on all day. Still pacing myself with this energy drink. Been sipping on it. Sipping. Since 9 a.m. All right, so it's still a bit awkward for the Chinese right now because the Franks are going to have the edge with the scouts, but you just play it safe. Make a couple spears. Wait till your farming eco starts to expand, and then eventually you're rolling. Really good draft from Capoch, right? Humans for the first game, Chinese for this. Really solid draft. And this is before we talk about, you know, the rest of the maps. Looking around here, Capoch doesn't see the walls. Maybe caught a glimpse of Vinchester walling in the last second. To be expected at this point. Capoch is actually going to attempt to wall to the edge of the map here, which is really hard to justify at times. Vinch could do it this way, right? Because you can't wall in the rock terrain there. Can we see platinum predictions we made somewhere? I don't know if there's a list of it, but yeah, everyone who's watching right now, up until the, 6th, I think, of September, if you use the link I have pinned, the probability website, you can make predictions for all the results of platinum, and we're running a contest there. I'm going to make a video on that, and we'll talk a bit more about that. Yeah, if you guys are interested in trying your luck at predicting all the sets and all the results in group stage, have at it. It should be fun. Capoch had basically said, I have a Vil lead. My farms give me tons of food. You will not break me. And he's just played it easy so far. Like, civilizations that can really give Chinese problems would be civilizations that actually open with man-at-arms archer, not scouts, because scouts takes time to mass. Men-at-arm play can kind of punish the walling aspect that Chinese love to play towards. But also Lance Madness, I feel the Chinese are better than Arabia, let's say. Nice play from Vinch. He split up his scouts, hoping all the spears would follow these two, and Vinchester, or Capoch, sorry, did not allow that to happen. Meanwhile, Capoch did a similar thing and lured the spearman away and killed a villager. But yeah, it feels like Lance Madness Chinese are super smooth because you have the berries underneath the TC. So 32 villagers versus 29. It hasn't been anything that makes you go, whoa, crazy, holy crap. No, it hasn't been that, and that means advantage Chinese, right? Those types of ridiculous games, they would not be so good for the Chinese. 7 scouts for Vinch. I don't hate it. I know there's spears out there, but I don't hate the amount of scouts he's created. I just think Capoch has played so safe and so well this far. And props to him for that. Vinchester headed to gold now. He does have spearman protecting additional berry spot, which I'm happy that he did, especially being the Franks. Capoch may be going a little crazy with the forward spears. I'm curious to see what it does, though. I feel like instead of making more spearmen, you could have just used those spearmen against these scouts. Because he's going to go up to 10 spearmen, but he probably doesn't feel like having excess spearmen against Franks is a problem here. Quick look at res collected. And it has been Capoch in the lead there. And Capoch let the Spearman out. Vinchester noticed it. Great awareness from Vinch. And here comes Capoch. No over-chopping. Villagers are safe for now. Scouts and spears moving around. This could get awkward here for Vinchester. Unless Capoch goes into the TC fire, but... I think you need to get your walls down around your villagers, and Capoch is like, what you gonna deal with here? You gonna deal with my spears? Poke, poke, poke. Gonna deal with my scouts? Do you have your quick wall fingers ready, Vinchester? Oh my god. Okay, am I crazy, or is that something you just expect Vinchester to get a quick wall down on in most situations? That, I mean, he knew the scouts were around. He did get baited a bit, right? The positioning got awkward. But Capoch, given an opportunity from Vinch, I mean, he created the opportunity himself. But Capoch made the most of it. And Capoch killed 3 villagers so far in this game. Hasn't lost a single one. Could be that Vinch kind of knows his position in the next round doesn't change. Right? He lost everything that he was fighting for in the series. Could be a part of that as well. I will say it's probably not ideal to have lost so many units here for Capoch. Capoch is going to click up to Castle Age soon. Seems like Vinchester will be faster. Vinchester still has 2 scouts available, but not a whole lot to get excited about right now. Vinch is playing into Capoch's hand like game 1. Yeah, but I think it's the Civ thing, too. Like, I don't see a way that Vinchester can be more creative and try more if he wants to play towards his own Civ strengths here. On this map, one of the best things you can do is prep your draft so you don't have to deal with the Chinese, or you have a Civ that can perform better against the Chinese. There's not many, but like, I think I prefer Berbers over Chinese. I think I would prefer to have Magyars over, or sorry, Berbers over Franks. I think I would prefer to have, maybe, I guess Huns is a bit weird. But yeah, like, Franks is just, it's just a bit awkward against the Chinese. And remember in game 1, too, it's kind of like, well, you have to play a certain style to punish the humans. So it's really good drafting from Capoch, and he comes in with a plan, and it's always a really good plan, and Vinch hasn't been able to break him. So Vinch will go 2 stables here. I actually think Vinch will not invest that heavily into Knights. I think he's going to go for TCs instantly, so it's a bit of greed here. It's either all in with Knights, maybe like Pike Siege, or the other extreme is add town centers. Maybe get 1 on the stone so you can build up towards a castle sooner rather than later. And there's 1 TC. There's another TC. Yeah, I like this decision. And then go monastery to convert camels, and you can be okay. Yeah, this is really good. This is, I think, the best solution for Vinchester in this position. And notice Capoch. Capoch is like, okay, it's war, because war lands madness time, so I got to get +2 armor. I'm going to make tons of knights, too. So it's possible Capoch kind of over-invests into the knights. But he can afford to do basically everything else. He's going for knights. He's going for camels. TC, TC. Main difference is he's got a TC on a woodline, which is really nice. I wonder if players think about that. Because this is the second time this week that I've seen someone make the TC in their wood, which looks so nice. I wonder if Capoch thought about that when he placed his lumber camp. Probably not, right? Like, I can justifiably TC this later if I double chop the same wood line. Whereas, like, here, you wouldn't want to TC this wood necessarily. I don't know. I guess it was just a good wood line. Vinch got husbandry, I think. He did. So he's got fast cav. And he's just booming away. Right now he has his monk inside of his town center, which is interesting. He could actually run through here if he wished to. Capoch sends the monk out, going for the knights. The scouts should go kill that. Nice play there. Meanwhile, on this side, we've got the knights from Capoch looping in. Vinchester reacts. Well played, Vinch. Obviously, he's behind economically, like we said, but he's done a nice job. Capoch, he comes in with camels, and Vinch hops out of the TC and gets a conversion. What a play. That's sick. Does lose a lot of spears over here, but those things are very weak. And Capoch has to be careful showing his monks like this, because those scouts from Vinch will peel off and go back and try and kill the monks. Monks inside the TC is not something I was expecting to see today. All right. Would you prefer to go light cav monk here instead of knights? You mean in Capoch's position? No, I think what Capoch has done here is fine. He hasn't made like too many knights. And he's able to, you know, try and apply some pressure. You have to you have to try and do damage. We become very accustomed to players not getting the damage because the other player's just ready, but still you have to make them work for it. And I don't think Capoch overinvested by getting +2 armor because he had the resources to do that, and boom, as you can see in his idle TC time and everything else. So this is just really clean play from Vinch and really clean play from Capoch. But it does bring up a point where it's like, what's your long term here, right? What is your long term if you're Franks? I think for Vinch, bit of an overboom. You could fall back into defensive castle if you don't have map control. If you somehow take map control, then you can go for a forward castle. That's what he's thinking. But I think it's an easier job for Capoch from here, as long as he holds good vision on the map, knows what Vinchester's going for. Because I could see pikemen being in Vinchester's near future. Which is a shame, because he had spearmen before that he lost, but made sense in that instance to lose them. Because he was fighting against some knights. Are throwing axemen good against camels? I think they're actually really good against camels. But they're also very slow. These camels are chasing down the knights right now. Let's see how quickly Capoch backs away. Wow, immediately. Well played. Couple light cav looking for monks in here, and they died to the spearmen. 19 to 18 kills. Close game. Very boomy game. Res collected. Should be all Chinese, and it is. And Capoch just played so freaking good. As he gets his first relic and will drop now the 4th TC. But Vinch has been on 4 for a bit, so Vinch could catch up in Vils. Yeah, guys, no community games today because it's TTL marathon day. Sorry things changed. I blame the players. There's a lot of last-minute schedules. It's all good, but didn't want to miss out on these games. I feel if it was Viper or Hera, they know it's 3 TC defense with monks. Going knights is just not effective. Maybe better than Lyke have to get relics and win him. Yeah, maybe. But, I mean, again, it just wasn't... It's not like Capoch was stubborn and kept making knights. And I think these camels still make a lot of sense and add a lot of value in the long term. So I think it's been pretty good. Capoch has been insane, Duke. It's not just you. Capoch has been insane. Capoch is, again, there's never really been many moments where you're like, what is he doing? What's the strat? The strat's always good. His vision's always good. His scouting's really good. Like, guys, Capoch is really motivated to make it and continue to be full-time in AoE right now. I don't know if you guys realize that, but, like, he's trying different streaming platforms. You know, he's active on the socials. Like, I know he's trying streaming on Kick right now. He's, like, talking to other streamers on Kick. Like, he's grinding. He's practicing. Like, he's really treating professional Age of Empires as, you know, people might think one would, but, you know, that doesn't always come. That's not always the case. So I think Capoch is definitely in a mode. I can't really speak for him on this, but I think he's in a, you know, a situation where, I mean, he's what, mid-30s, has a kid or two. You know, he's doing full-time gaming. He's like, I got to get these wins. $20 a game, and let's get me back in plat. Like, Capoch is really taking this seriously. So Imp's going to come in for him, and where the pike push gets awkward is if there's a castle for the Chinese, and the Chinese then shift into Chukunu. And this is going to be fun, because both players are going to build a castle here. And That's a lot of pikemen and a lot of monks from Vinchester. And the old men from Capoch have blocked this castle spot. And oh, this is so good from Vinch. I love this. This is so good. And the best part about this, guys, is look at his resources. He will drop this castle. He will try and turn this into another castle. And he's going to be going imp for trebuchets to treb down the castles that would then make Chukunu. It's a bit of a forced fight, just so he's able to get his castle up. But I'd like the play from Vinchester to try and turn it into this type of a game, because otherwise, if you just sit back, I think the Chinese would have an easier game. And Capoch is on the way to imp ahead of Vinchester, so he actually clicked imp before he even built his castle. I'm curious what he does here, because now if you go pikes yourself, because you don't want to make camels anymore, right? Make pikes yourself, there's throwing axemen out of the castle. If you go knights, your opponent's got pikes as well, so you can't do that. If you go Chukunu, you can do that, but you need trebuchets out of this castle. So it's like, what do you even freaking do? And honestly, I think the answer is maybe switching into archer ranges. And he's getting fletching now, so I could maybe see that happening. But that takes time as well. So I like the attempt from Vinch. We'll see if it's enough. He's a lot of army on the field. He's now seeing this TC from Capoch, as Capoch is just trying to secure a little bit of extra gold for himself. And he will get the TC up, Capoch, but he has to take a fight against the pikes, which is never ideal, but he does have +2 armor. So it's not the worst fight ever, as Vinchester's just going to drop another castle here. And Capoch will drop another castle right behind this, because he sees all of it and knows it's Trebor. If Capoch wins the Trebor, Capoch destroys this game, because then he has the double castle, probably at that point triple, quadruple castle to make the Chukunu, and the Chukunu shred everything. So Vinch needs to win this Trebor, and Capoch does as well. Do skirms counter axemen? Not really, no. And you really never want to be going skirm when your opponent has already shown you knights and already has like such good knights available. It's always something you want to avoid. Hello, Mr. Monk. So first Treb will come out for Capoch. Now Capoch has camels to be able to protect Trebs, but he's got 2 different positions to protect. There's the first Treb. Here's going to be the second. Quick walling from Capoch back here. And outposting from Vinch, and you can even see in the north, he's looking around. Like, is there gold? Is there stone that Capoch is taking? The answer is yes. Capoch has gold and stone everywhere because it's land madness. Okay, here's a Treb. And then here's a Treb. Vinch is going for Cavalier. Again, I really like Vinch's decisions. This was, I think, his best way to deal with the Chinese. Force them into a Treb war and eliminate the Chukunu possibility, the easy Chukunu possibility. Vinch might need to repair here, though. Man, how important will that faster imp end up being here? Both players will be repairing. With Cavalier, Vinchester will want to snipe the Trebs. But look at Capoch. He's got camels here, and he's got camels here. Capoch also sees Cavalier, so he understands. It's just not easy to have the numbers in position. Okay, now Capoch will be alerted to the fact that Vinch is going to pressure this side. Both players are losing a castle. Capoch will quick wall in front of his Trebs and try and use his Trebs against the Trebs from Vinchester. But obviously, lots of halbs here. Capoch is going to rely on his castle fire, though. This is a good decision from him. You've got what could be double castle fire. You've got Arbalest. And your Treb, it's hard for Vinchester to take an engagement against those Trebs. So if he does, he pays a heavy price for it, I guess is the idea. And Vinch pays the price, but he gets both the Trebs, and his Treb still stands. While over here, Capoch doesn't have a castle. And Vinchester has Paladin on the way! Paladin! What? That's sick. And it's pretty ridiculous because he doesn't really have a lot of army right now. But he's bought himself a bit of time. random camel raid. Camel will go down, but, you know, Vinch, in 90 seconds is going to have Paladin, which can be great against Arbalest, which can be great against everything as long as the opponent doesn't have a lot of numbers. So I think like Capoch is trying to figure out now, what is my opponent committing towards? And it's really difficult for him because he doesn't know. He would never expect Paladin to have been clicked. I think what Vinch needs to do, because Vinch isn't losing this castle, because there's no trebs on it, I think Vinch needs to raid with his palace. Like, expect to eventually lose this, but you raid here, you just... The first 15 to 20 Paladins, I'll raid and try and pull Capoch apart. Capoch does not think that Vinchester would ever continue to go Cav, much less go Paladin. Like, that is not something that's in his mind. He's still making camels, but now that he sees Paladin, he's probably like, what? How? And Vinch has just done a sick job here, guys. Like, he's just done an amazing job expanding his eco behind that whole Treb push. He made sure that was not everything, and Capoch will lose some villagers here. Capoch has villagers exposed here. Vinch can see that. Obviously, Capoch clicks heavy camel because he wants an answer to the Paladins, but Vinch just a couple raids happening. Trebs coming in, another castle happening, and the Paladins are just going to be accompanied by the Halbs. And yeah, Capoch has the Arbs, but the Arbs are over here. Capoch is completely out of position because Vinchester taking initiative here. That was sick. Wow. For all the doubting we did, for all the inevitability it felt like, you know, this matchup had with Franks versus the Chinese, Vinchester just really took it for a spin with the forward castle pike play. And the best players, they're able to win games with control, and Vinch he gained control with that and has had it ever since. Did trickle Treb here? That bothers me. I would have liked to see 4 Trebs, but he's still raiding. And because Paladins are quick, he can always just run right away. Or take the fight. Yeah, just take the fight. Treb's still trebbing. Arbalest go out to do the job there, and we'll take care of it. But then the Paladins run in here for these Trebs. It's Paladin, so I imagine both Trebs will go down. And only one goes down. But, like, this Vinchester has so much control right now, and he has so much backup castles, that it feels like Capoch is never going to be able to breathe. Capoch is getting destroyed here. There will be a new castle. Capoch still can't treb this down. Capoch has Paladins streaming into the north wood line. And Vinchester looks like he's about to tie up the series here. 150 vills for Vinch behind this. With 63 on gold. Whoa. Well, that explains the Paladin. That explains it. Who cares if you're even running into camels with these Paladins if you can continue to create more? He can make more Paladins than Capoch can make camels, so he just needs to simply keep it up. There's no reason not to with that much on gold. That's ridiculous. What an eco balance. 55 on food, 64 on gold. Dang. A lot of people have like 60 on wood, 50 on food, 10 on gold. You know, they don't really have the ratios right. But everywhere you look, Vinch has villagers on gold. Everywhere you look, you're finding gold mining. All right, so we've seen this before, right? Capoch is going to stabilize this side and deny the castle. And then over here, he starts to lose his trap. And over here, more Paladins are running into his eco. Yeah, Capoch, he cannot win from this position. Vinchester is far too good to allow it to happen. Has the trap prepared here. That's awesome, though. This reminds me of kind of how Stark had played when he had that crazy game with Magyars on Lands Madness. Guys, there's just so much gold on this map. So you don't really have to play towards late game comps the way you would Arabia, where you run out of gold eventually. So he was happy to just continue making a really expensive unit against quote-unquote counters. And Vinchester ties it up 1-1, and that's more like it from Vinchester. The early game was really weird. Like, remember, he almost got housed at 15 pop. And, you know, on the back of him losing the previous game and, you know, not being... We know he's not going to be first in this group. All those things was very easy to talk about. maybe some of the weaknesses from him, but that was clean. I think for Capoch, the main thing there is scouting pikemen, just to show you, because a lot of people are going to be like, how do you stop that? It's really tricky. But I think, first off, if Capoch would have had his castle up a minute earlier, it's fine. But Capoch at this point, and this is something I think we all can learn from, he's just sitting at home, and he does have a scout, but it's just sitting on a relic. What happens if, he's just sitting at home? If he is actually, he makes another scout and runs forward and sees this. If you see this, because no one in their right minds at this level is using pikemen defensively when the Chinese are going to go, have the ability to go archers. So you see this clump, and you're like, okay, I need my castle now. And I think it changes the game. You rush the castle down, you start to mass even just 5-10 Chukunu, you stop the forward castle, and then the whole game shifts from there. But it was great from Vinchester. It's not easy to have the presence of mind when you're doing everything else. And also when you feel like you're winning, sometimes do that. And we'll have a final game between these two. It will not change the results in or the placements in the group, but it will decide, where $20 goes. And of course, a little bit of pride for the players. All right, so here we are, game 3. Capoch, at 12 wins, right? I think he's at 12 wins right now. And then Vinch is at 10. Yeah, and regardless of what happens here, we know it will be Capoch first place, and we know it will be Vinchester second place. We got Capoch playing as the Malians. Capoch, sorry, we zoomed up. If you didn't pick up on that already, we were late. So a lot has already happened. Capoch docked right away and took the straggler trees. So he could make the 2 fishing ships, and 3 fishing ships even. And then he's going to get enough wood to go for a lumber camp. And then Vinchester, he docked later, so he went for the lumber camp early. And then this is more of the old classic coast to mountain approach. This is better for your consistent wood income, but worse for your initial food income. And I think this matchup's pretty close. I think where it gets, both civilizations are a bit awkward if they feel the need to switch into range. Typically, it's a lot of cav from both of them, and both have knights, both have camels. I might actually prefer the Persians, because I think the Persians can go into help. And obviously there is champion then as an option for the Malians, and then the Persians don't have that, but I mean, composition-wise, I think Persians, but I think Malians are easier to play because all of your wood buildings are discounted, which just feels so strong. I don't know. I could tell you we're not going to see fast castle war elephants, though, from Vinchester. Could promise you that. Yeah, that makes sense, Duke. That makes sense. Well, 3 fishing ships for Vinch. Question now is, are we going to see feudal age play into water? And with Vinch getting loom right now, that indicates he's probably going to head feudal. This is quite a tight build, considering his fishing ships were late, but he's going to make it happen, and so will Capoch. So, similar builds. Vinch, drop off the food. There you go. Slightly better execution for Capoch, and this is a heavy commit towards water. Cannot wait to see what Platinum players do. I think maybe it's just the new builds, right? But with so much hunt out here and so much open space, I just cannot be convinced right now until I see all the Platinum players do the same exact thing as these guys. And even then, just because pro players do stuff does not mean it's because it's necessarily good. I think there's an element of it where high-level players are resistant to change, and they will not open their minds to certain things being viable until they see someone else do it, or they see it work, whether it's with themselves or someone else. But you can't tell me that these 3 fishing ships right here are worth double docking over going into a barracks and some aggression here. You just can't convince me. I cannot be convinced. Instead of all these villas on wood, if you have 7 on wood and you go barrack stable and then you have more villagers on the hunt, Couple scouts? When everyone's just been walling here and booming? I don't know, man. That's what I think. What do you think about Nikov's approach in this map, building the TC on the wood line? I don't think it's bad. I think it's actually especially good if you do not want to be hit with land pressure. Because right now, you have to wall a whole lot more. If you do build the TC here, then it's much easier to wall yourself into the little corner. You do have to be a bit more thoughtful on what hunt you take, because you are also further away from some of the rhinos, but you could still bring in a rhino long distance. I think building the TC right away is better, because you get the villagers faster, and it's also easier for you later if you want to expand over here to send some vills from there. But yeah, we'll see. Fire galleys from both. And Capoch's second dock was over here if you missed it. I think Capoch might use a fishing ship to block some of the damage. Thus far, it's very close. 159 HP for both, actually. Again, not a ton of fish here. Capoch's second dock is actually really clutch, because his fishing ships aren't in harm's way at all. And the fish is also really close to the dock, which feels really good. And still throughout this, they're bringing in rhinos. So they're going for the same type of builds with two civs that have really good docking starts. And then two civs that typically play out in the stable units. So looking better for Capoch so far in this fight. Finch a little bit later with his navy. Will need to repair. Might queue up a demo. Capoch has a demo queued as well. And Capoch is like, give me a fish, 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 give me a fish. He doesn't get the fish. He backs away. That is on 3 HP. He wants the ship. He wants the ship. He wants the ship. He wants the ship. He doesn't get the ship. Oh. Vinch is going to bait him. He's like, come get me. Nope. Wow, well played, Vinch. And now a demo could be big on either side. And the demo is huge. Not bad. And then the demo lands there for Vinchester, but not the craziest. Here comes Capoch. Is he bringing another Vilt? No, he's going to go get that rhino. So walls are coming up, to be expected. I'll check the res collected, and it's probably very close. It is dead even. These guys showing how good they are, and honestly, they've made it look very easy thus far. Main difference I'm noticing is that Vinchester's farming. I actually don't mind it. I think that it simplifies some aspects of the game for you. It's a bit harder to bring in the rhinos, you know, in the later stages of the game. And this is the second time he saved a ship on very low HP. And another good demo there from Vinchester. A good demo is a demo that collides with two ships. If it collides with two ships, it's generally seen as worth it. 3 ships is even better. And Capoch loses pretty badly on water here. You know, my thought is, you know, maybe he's trying to look at rhinos, right? Maybe he's still looking at the hunt instead of transitioning into farms. So advantage Vinchester, I suppose. But still, I mean, Capoch's fishing ships, they're still bringing in food this whole time. I really don't think this affects resources collected. I don't think it has a massive effect in resources collected long term. This game will still be very close. But in theory, now Vinchester could find those fishing ships and kill them. Love the scouting activity from Vinch, and he will see the barracks being built there from Capoch. May prompt him to do the same. He's made a blacksmith already, though, so I think he might opt for a market first. That way he's only one building removed from Castle Age. Okay, Vinch finally loses a low HP ship. And Vinchester doesn't have the food just yet, but I think these villagers all are going to be carrying quite a bit of food. And for Capoch, it's actually just not having the buildings. He did go house wall this whole way, which is really nice. Capoch still needs a blacksmith or a market, though, so I think the uptimes will be pretty much similar. Vinchester will be faster. Why not increase the number of fish in the pond so winning it is worth losing some on lands? Well, because then every single game is the same water war in transition, and that's not what this map is meant to be. I think it's at a perfect spot because clearly majority of the players think double docking this and giving up land is worth it right now. I'm curious to see if that meta changes. Because regardless of how players have opened on water, it does always seem like it goes late, and prioritizing all this space is worth it right now. So I like this from Capoch. He's losing water, but he recognizes that, so he's out to kill the fish from Vinch. So if Vinch wants to benefit from having the water, then Vinchester would have to add more fishing ships. Mongols have broken the meta, Calpit, but also Japanese. The Dragonstar game... Dragonstar has a really good strategy with Japanese. And he went for lands. I think I can say this because... well, no, I can't give more thoughts on that because Dragonstar will be in playoffs. So... But I've spoken to quite a few players on strats, and right now I'm trying to stay tight-lipped on certain things if the players are not finished with their sets. So I got so much I want to talk about. But yeah, if you watch Dragonstar and Slam, it was really interesting strategy. I think honestly, if Dragonstar wouldn't have lost his starting camel in that game, because he went man-at-arms, right? He would have won that game because he could have killed so many more villagers with the camel to block. This is interesting for Vinch. So he's going to TC the coast. And Capoch will see this. I love the Scout Edition. This makes me so happy. And what is it? 2 fishing ships for both still. And Capoch still fishing. But that will end now. He's still making ships. God, it tilts me so much. I can't look at it. Like, there's just, like, no fish left. But, you know. They never want to lose control of a position, these guys. I get it. Yes, Calpit, basically, Slam went double dock. And it was barracks around, like, here-ish. Into Man-at-Arm 1 range. And a tower. So Slam's villagers had to run from his gold and his woodline due to the archer pressure and the man-at-arms. But because the camel had died to the TC, the villagers could make it back because he didn't have anything to block. He still killed a couple of vills, and it still was really messy. But yeah, he couldn't block, which my assessment is due to the camel going down. Probably why Slam was able to hold on. And the whole time, he's just got like mill, hunt, as he's just like piling on pressure on Slam the whole time. It was really fun. It was a great game. One of the best games on Coast to Mountain thus far. Capoch finds a Vill kill with the Knight. There will be a camel here from Vinch in a minute. Now he went 2 docks in Dark Age, or sorry, 2 fishing ships in Dark Age, and then just stopped going on water. Is what Dragonstar did. Nice shot from Capoch. Really goes to show you how important it can be to add a unit or 2. At Knight, still going to run around as well, just to annoy Vinchester as much as possible. Like, Slam's TCs had to end up, in that game, had to be on the coast, because Dragonstar had all the control here. It was really fun. Monks will be out probably to get relics. I think this game will go late, and right now, Vinchester has the better economy. I wonder if the faster working Persian TCs are paying off right now. Feels like they might be. Res collected is higher for Vinchester with food and wood collected. Farm count looking pretty healthy for both. You never should attack a monk with a camel, guys. Never do it. Doesn't matter if the monk has sanctity or not, the camel will get converted. That's not 100% factual in all cases, but as you could see there, camel got right on top of that monk, and monk was able to get the conversion very easily. And Capoch pulls away with the Knight, but he now knows that Vinchester's there. And he also, from his vision, was able to see Vinchester is around here. Now look at... I saw walls somewhere. Yeah, okay. Look at what Vinch is thinking. I love this move. Bit risky at the moment. Maybe a bit preemptive, but the thinking here is... There's a gold here and a gold here, and I don't want a castle dropped. So I need to wall the position. And I think it was... I think Z40 had added walls at one point. There was another player who did this, and I was like, whoa, that's really smart at that time. Capoch just hoping to get the relic, but the monk helped out a bit. So I guess Capoch is back on water. If you get... Oh, man, this is maybe a little too ambitious, but... I mean, even the walls here... The wall here would be epic. Capoch doesn't see any of that. He's really thinking relics, and he's thinking middle control, but he's not thinking about the mountain. Malians have the better early imp windows, so I think Vinchester just doesn't want to have to deal with that. Oh, man. Especially, right, like, if you're building up, you click up to imp, you're like, all right, let's move out, let's drop the castle, and then it delays that. You might even regret clicking up so quickly. Vinchester deleted the first scout after killing a monk. Will he delete this one? Yup. Worth it. Say goodbye to your monks, fool. Capoch got 3 relics, though. Yeah, Vinchester's really looked better, after, a couple weird things happened in game 1 and game number 2. It's like, after the 20-minute mark in game 2, it's like, okay, this is the Vinchester that we expected today. Maybe in TTL. Oh, this is so fascinating that Capoch doesn't expect this. Again, this is something that I expect to be very different in Platinum. I think we'll see, at least come week 3, a lot more outposting here, a lot more like villagers making houses, siege workshops, everything. That is smart. And Capoch sees the walls now. And that's going to be really annoying for him to deal with. Villager for Vinch will go down. I think Halb or Pikes makes a lot of sense here, but Vinch is going to drop stables. And Capoch is camels. Just camels and monks. There's a hole. Here? Here? I don't think there's a hole here. I think this is walled. This is open, but that's a bit closer to Vinchester's base. According to the math, there's a 100% chance that you get probably converted 9 out of 10 times if you attack a monk with a camel. Okay, that math didn't really add up, but I believe you, I guess. Oh, okay, there we go. Scouts come in, and oh god, Persian monks are so weak. Oh, great fight for Capoch. Capoch is going to get it clear. But Lycav's in for Vinch, and a lot of old men with no hair are going to die. Dead. Good play from both players to counter the monks. Vinchester about to click imp. I think Capoch the same. Res collected is in favor of Vinch currently. But Capoch has a bit more army to work with, which I like. I hate this castle, though. This is such an awkward castle. So he does it because this is the castle you normally build. Castle on the front of your base, and then you go in. But making a castle on the other side of your opponent's walls is such a tricky thing sometimes because they see your castle, they can make trebs, and you can't get to their trebs now. I guess you could if you shoot the gate. Maybe that's the thinking here. But obviously Vinchester, he wants to, pressure that castle now. And more camels being created from Capoch and more cab upgrades coming in for Vinch. So I think this will just be a camel war. Vinch will add another gate here so his trebs could sit right behind. It will be interesting where his trebs eject. It's possible his trebs go this way, and then he can't get units to them easily. And actually, if he wants hill bonus, he wants his trebs to be up here. If his trebs are here, it's not doing hill bonus damage, so that's kind of funny. Capoch, he's like, I know you're making camels, so I'm just going to take the building that creates your camels right from you. And is getting more upgrades and sending more camels here. But if this is a straight-up camel war, advantage Malians, correct? Malians get the Farimba upgrade. 7+7 attack. Vinch rewalling this is really smart. Vinch dropping a castle here because he's worried. He is heavily out-upgraded even right now. Not heavily, I guess, but he is out-upgraded. Stables are going to go down here for Vinchester. He does click heavy camel, though. He clicks it in that stable, so clearly he thinks that stable's going to stay up. Hopefully for him it does, because heavy camel takes forever. He also clicked chemistry. He falls back to the castle fire. Capoch a little distracted, maybe by this. I'm not sure. But just like that, Vinchester probably will complete heavy camel. A stable at 100 HP is still just as useful as a stable as 2100 HP. And Capoch, he doesn't actually have a ton on gold. This is his gold. It's right behind the castle. So winning the race to heavy camel, winning the race to chemistry, winning the race to the trebs. Dude, look at that treb. It's flinging things off the map. Pretty sure you should get bonus points for that. You can't really get units to it unless he runs through here, but... You see what I mean, though? Capoch is like, well, what the crap? How am I supposed to get to that? But I think Capoch should have clicked this wall once this castle was up. The wall would have already been down, and then Vinchester could never justify having his trebs out there unprotected. So just a couple tiny things. And it's just a unique thing. We don't see this a lot. The approach that Vinchester's taken. It's going to be hand cannons and camels for Vinch. He's got 50 on gold. What is with this guy in gold? He's got gold everywhere. Honestly, don't mind it. Hand cannons are really good against camels, I think, because the damage output, so... I was expecting him to go Halb instead of camels. So maybe Halb hand cannon, but this does make sense as well. Okay, did he... I think he took out the tree with his treb. Right? Capoch definitely took out that tree with the treb. Or maybe he... Oh, he clicked the gate to treb down the gate. And then it missed and hit the tree and he doesn't know? I think that's what happened. And Vinch has to get units in front of his trebs now. So he had to go into the castle and now out. And oh, God. Oh, but he gets it. He actually gets it. There's one camel in there. He was like, guys, where are you? Okay, well played from Vinch. I mean, I would not have had the skill to be able to get the quick wall down there. And it was smart thinking, too, to go for the blacksmith, because it was perfectly spaced. The Capoch has gone for pikes, thinking, yeah, I got to get something out here that counters camels. And the pikes start to go down there. And the castle for Capoch goes down. We'll see if Vinchester's does. But Vinchester's got a nice little position here on this mountain. And this is the main gold income for Capoch. Capoch's trebs, the villagers all exposed. Camels right now have the same, well, similar upgrades. There's more upgrades for Capoch in defense, but I don't think that matters as much as that big attack upgrade that he would have needed the castle to produce or research. So, you know, the hand cannons just filing their way through all these gates like it's nothing. And I think it should be really good against these camels here. And I think Capoch has kind of run out of steam. Let me double check. Let's see. I don't see hand cannons versus camels that frequently. But I think the damage output from the hand cannons should be too much for the camels to deal with. Wow. Again, Capoch is safe. Capoch is going to be number one. But how important was it for Capoch that he had as many wins as he did before coming into this series, if this is the end result? And how big of a deal was it that Vinchester lost 2-1 to Yaks in the group stage? Right? He wins 2-1 there. This win would actually take him to first place. The every win mattering format really makes you think a little bit, you know? Castle from Vinch. He's got no support, but he's also got 18 villagers building it, and he knows everything from Capoch is here. And Capoch is not going to be able to deal with that. Well played, Vinchester. Vinchester wins 2-1. But again, Vinchester will go into the playoffs. And after the last 2 games, after Vinchester really picked up the pace and really started to play towards late game and make better decisions, I would not want to be 3rd place in Group A, because 3rd place in Group A has to beat this guy in a best of 5 now. So well played, Vinchester. I'm really happy to have seen him show his strengths and his best play. And congratulations, Capoch. Capoch is like, woo! Thank God. He's like, thank God. I did not want to go into a playoff. That first win was so important here. Let's look at the stats. This group still isn't figured out. There's still a big fight for who ends up staying alive, and that'll be fun in and of itself. But Capoch, he loses 2-1 to Vinchester, but a very respectable showing, going 12-3 here in this group. Vinchester goes 11-4. What we have left in this group is 2 sets. We have Cloud and Yax, which I'll be casting either next or a bit later. And that is basically part of the do or die for the finale of this group. There is a chance that Mihai doesn't get 3rd place and doesn't go to playoffs. That would be if he loses pretty badly to Cloud. But it's currently 6 wins for Mihai, 1 set remaining. 4 wins for Yax, 1 set remaining. And then, 2 wins for Cloud, 2 sets remaining. And what I'm thinking is that Mihai's likely going to get a win against Cloud, but Cloud might maybe get like 1 win there. It's interesting because, look, I think Yax and Cloud will be close, and I'm thinking it's a 2-1. So to just, add some spicy drama to it, let's say Cloud wins 2-1 over Yax. Then Yax is finished. He has 1 more win than Cloud, meaning Cloud would go into the series against Mihai with 1 win being the goal. But it would be possible for him to surpass Mihai and send Mihai down to like 3rd place or something. So those are the final 2 sets that'll be coming up in this group as we decide how the lesser players, the lower players will place.